Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to another fun episode of Business Growth Time. Today's topic answers the age-old question, what does Terry do? So we're
This
gonna
was my idea. I'm
it was.
like, we talk a lot about what I do because it's pretty basic, and but I'm always like, we never talk about what Terry does.
Listen, man, I posted on Facebook the other day. Well, 2 weeks ago, I posted something about based on what you've seen of me on Facebook. What do you? What are some words that describe me, right? So it was paddleboard and father and boating and lake life, and it was mostly just fun. Not, I don't think there was a comment. I think a couple of people said speaker and a couple of people said
Okay,
coach, but
okay,
there was like
that's funny.
90 comments and like 3 of them sounded like anything that helped me make money. So I posted a couple of days ago,
I
you
saw. Well, you see Jeff's comment, my husband.
know, hang out with my wife for an hour a week, I think. I'm not really sure. Yeah, oh, I saw it. he's probably happy that we're several states away, right? I mean, that's probably a value.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, it's like no one really knows what does Terry do. It's funny because there was a period of time, Janet E. Johnson, where empty will be the E word because it's kind of like how I feel about what I do sometimes, a little empty about it.
That's good.
On my LinkedIn profile, it said if you ask 10 people, what does Terry Bean do? You'll get 10 smiles and 9 different answers.
It's
Because
true.
the reality is, I do different shit for different people. It depends on what your need is. I always joke, like if I was in the theater business, I would be a triple threat, right? I can write, I can speak, I can lead people and influence. These are the things that I can do, right?
Coach, yeah,
I can
that can,
coach,
yeah.
I can inspire, I can do fun stuff.
Don't they call that like a serial entrepreneur?
Yeah, they call it something, right?
Kind of like that. Yeah.
It reminds me, I don't know, do you remember the movie History of the World Part 1?
Nope.
There's a great scene in this movie where they're in ancient Rome and Mel Brooks is going up to the unemployment office and B. Arthur, the tall chick Dorothy from Golden Girls,
Oh
is
yeah.
working at the unemployment office, and she says, so occupation, and he says, stand up philosopher, because he's a comic, and she says, oh, you're a bullshit artist.
Oh no.
Did you bullshit last week? Did you try and
Ah,
bullshit last week? And that's how
that'd
he was
be Terry.
funny. I'm not saying that's Terry, but
I'm just kidding, but
I'm just saying
Terry.
maybe
Well, and here's
he's
the
good
thing,
at
though.
bullshit.
I will go back on though. You have been in your own business and entrepreneur for many, 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 many years, and
Yeah,
gone through many, many things. I mean, us
everything.
as entrepreneurs, there's, and we've always got to learn to shift. I mean, just look at this COVID stuff. I mean, if I I looked at the world during that and I went, I'll get through this. It's just another bump in the roller coaster.
Or
But some
pivot.
people have never experienced a bump in the roller coaster like that. You know what I mean? And I think as an entrepreneur, we just have to figure out a way. Like our last show, I just talked about, I just figured out a way to overcome getting my Facebook ad banned.
And that's
So
what you have to do, right? Because obstacles show up, and you either have to figure out how to go under, over, around, through, whatever the case may be. But you can't just sit there and go, oh, well, there's an obstacle. I guess I'll just sit down and rest on it. Because that's not how it works, right? And so one of my challenges is I have a tendency, I'm so flippant adaptable that I might pivot more quickly than I should, right?
mm.
Sometimes it's like Kenny Rogers said, you got to know when to hold them, right? And sometimes I probably have folded a little too quickly.
Rip Kenny.
Yeah, right. That's true. He just passed like in the last 2 months, didn't he? That's a good point.
Sad.
Man, the gambler. Some
I
good stuff,
know.
I think, although I'm not a country music guy.
I love Kenny though.
Do you? Yeah,
Yep.
good
Hmm.
voice, and hell of a career,
Kenny and Lionel. Yep.
and a great white beard, might I add.
Ah!
Cool dudes with white beards. That's what's up.
Similar look. Oh, that's great.
So one of my endeavors is, and I've always played in the tech space, right? For whatever reason, in honestly, as I'm thinking out loud, my dad, when I was 17 or 18 years old, was busting my chops for not taking more computer classes in high school, and proceeded to bust my chops for not taking computer classes in college. I don't have the personality type to be a programmer. Good God, no. I don't have the attention span. I have the logic. I could actually think through it. I just don't have that's just not me. I'm not going to interact. Like I could have been a system admin because you can interact with people a little bit, but didn't care. So I got into the sales side of technology early on. I was selling computer training, and I sold computer networks, and then I sold people that did computer stuff. I was a technical recruiter. So my background, my foundation is all bits
Tech.
and bytes, right?
Hmm.
And then I got into telecom because communications is what my master's degree is in. And back in the day, I had a recruiting client that was doing voice over frame relay. And I was like, whew, this stuff is amazing. Now we just call it voice over internet protocol, but this was the predecessor. She's 23 years ago. So it's been a minute. I've earned these white whiskers. Um, so because of all of this stuff, I've got this great understanding of communicatively anyway, technology.
Hmm.
So most of my clients have been in and around that space too. Sometimes getting in the service. I mean, I've got a great client, Phil Klein Insurance Group, or PKIG. We're doing some leadership and management work with their leadership team, and then helping their sales team figure out how to reach more customers. I love that. It's been great opportunity. I've been working with those guys for a year. I see them weekly, and so blessed because I got to see them through COVID too. And they saw me through COVID, which was just like outpouring of gratitude right now, because that's amazing. They could have let me go relatively easily, but Phil is an awesome dude. So big love to Phil Klein and Phil Klein Insurance Group. But the latest company that I'm doing some work with as a sales partner is a company called Assemble. And Assemble's got this great idea about the future of work. And the reality is this: if you look at how business is done, and I've been saying this for over a decade, if you want to know where to play, you have to either be in front of where the baby boomers are going, because the market opportunity is huge when they catch up to where you are, or you have to be in front of where the millennials are going, because the market opportunity is even huger, right? Because that market's even bigger. And so we're at this confluence of baby boomers retiring, dropping out of the marketplace, millennials buying those businesses. The transfer of wealth from baby boomer to millennial is huge. Us in Gen X, like, we're still sitting here going, where's our latchkey? We have nothing going on. Ugh, so skipped over the lost generation, whatever.
We kind of were, actually, weren't we?
Totally. But if you look at the size, right? I mean, it's like 45 million of either side versus like 25 million.
Hmm.
It's like we're tiny. We're like,
It's
in our
interesting.
years, we have a
I
shorter
don't get it.
span. We totally jit the whole
Our
thing.
parents never had enough children, I guess, huh?
That's exactly it, right? We didn't have the right kind of war, evidently. We only had a conflict. So
Getting political. Uh-oh.
no, it's the
Only
Vietnam.
kidding.
They don't call it the war anymore. They call it the Vietnam conflict. Yeah, whatever. So
Oh,
anyway,
that's funny.
Assemble, the model was started by this guy Danny Beckett, and Danny is a true serial entrepreneur. Like, I play entrepreneur. Danny is a put it all on black and let's go, man, go. Hard work, pick up yourself by your bootstraps and go kick a lot of ass, right? He was a motocross racer, started at 16, turned pro at like 18, raced for 3 years. I don't know how many things he broke, but decided to retire at 21 or 22, and started doing e-commerce business and started selling OEM parts online,
Mm.
and ended up growing that business to like a $300 million company. And I'm 23 years old kind of guy, right?
Wow.
So just smart and dedicated and hardworking and innovative and right place, right time, right? Because that's what it takes to be an entrepreneur. He got married shortly thereafter. Was working in another company that was kind of in the marketing space and the service space in the 2008 timeframe. That company kind of got hit on hard times because of everything that was happening in 2008, 2009.
Yep.
So he had actually bankrupted a company. He had sold and exited a company and bankrupted a company before he was 27 years old.
Wow.
So he's done that. Because he was freshly married, he decided to head out and with his new wife and kind of drop out of the world a little bit. They moved to San Diego, and he spent a lot of time surfing and hanging out with his new bride, which is awesome. He talked her into moving up to Silicon Valley because he had the itch to start businesses again. He started with Startup America, which was a project by Stephen Scott Case. Steve Case, co-founder, AOL, kind of a famous dude.
Got it.
Um, so he was working with them. They started 10,000 different entrepreneurial organizations through their efforts. So he's just done all this stuff.
Wow.
And he had a couple of kids. He and his wife had a couple of kids.
So they moved back to Michigan?
They moved back to Michigan because nobody wants to raise kids in the valley, evidently.
I suppose. San Diego, though.
San Diego would be cool, right? But you're probably worried about that part of the country falling in the ocean. I don't know. So he decided to move back because Midwestern values are what they are. So it was kind of cool. Came back here, and he's been here for the last 5 or 6 years or so, and he was getting calls all the time. I need to build this e-commerce thing. You've got experience there. I need to do some social media stuff. You've got experience there. Can you help me build this marketing campaign? You got experience there. And he's like, I don't want to start an agency. I don't want to be in that business. And so he's like, how do I build something that solves this problem for folks, but isn't an agency? I want to get a funded business. So he created Assemble. And Assemble's this dual-sided marketplace that allows experts to come in with their area of expertise and match up with companies that need projects done, right? And so when we talk about the idea it's the future of work, if you look at where millennials are, nobody wants to go have a job for 30 years. Hell, they don't even want to show up to an office for 8 hours, right? They want the gig economy. They want to work on projects. They don't want to worry about billing. They don't want to worry about sending invoices. They probably don't even want to worry about selling. They just want magical projects to show up in their inbox so they can do the work they love wherever they are. And it works out really well from the company perspective because now you're not worried about benefits. You're not worried about all the insurance or all the taxes, the employment tax. You're not worried about bringing somebody on, bringing them up to speed, waiting 3 months to find out they're a dud, and then going through the process of firing them and trying to replace them. So there's all kinds of good things that happen with this particular model. So it's really, really cool. I'm trying to figure out at the moment why my kid shut the door and locked my dogs in this room. So,
I have a question for you.
yeah.
So what is the difference? This sounds a lot like another company I know of,
Okay.
Upwork.
Yes. Yep. Uh-huh. It is
What is,
exactly.
okay.
It
Is it
is.
for like freelancers and you could put projects out there if you're looking for a project, or you could put yourself out there? Is there any differences? What are the
100.
differences?
So the main difference is markets they serve, right? Upwork is great for an individual to go find a person to go do a project, right? So I could go
Yep.
find someone to design a logo on Upwork right now. In fact, I used Upwork for one of my clients earlier this year. I needed to find a project manager. I needed to find a graphics person. I needed to find a content writer. And I
Yep.
used Upwork, and I found all three of those
My
people,
bookkeeper
interviewed
I
them, and
found on
hired them.
Upwork. Yep.
Yeah, and it's a great, great tool.
Hmm.
The biggest difference is the word I had to find, right? So with Assemble, you're assigned a project manager, and they go and find the people and bring the talent to you. So you don't even have to worry about that. They'll actually work with you to scope the project out to make sure that it makes sense, that there's clear deliverables, that there's actual timeframes. So you can use them and their expertise to find exactly what you need. So it's pretty cool from that perspective.
So let's
Uh,
just use a scenario of, okay, so that's somebody looking for a project. Let's say I wanted to go on to Assemble as a Facebook and Instagram lead generation expert, blah, blah, blah.
okay.
Does that work?
And this is exactly why I wanted to talk to you. You're on my list of people because you're like, in my mind, you're one of our ideal partners, one of our ideal prospects, because you've got this real specific expertise in Instagram and Facebook advertising, right? But you've got clients who that's a part of their business in their business generation model, but
Yeah.
they also might need pay-per-click advertising. They might need SEO. They might need some SEM. They might need a new website design. They might need an email campaign. They might need, buy advertising,
Exactly.
purchasing, right?
Yep. Lots of
So
different pieces. Yep.
they've got,
Exactly.
I forget what the number is, but there's like 74 different pieces of marketing expertise inside the world of marketing at this
Digital
point. Yeah.
or marketing. Okay.
Yeah, and it might
Hmm.
be just digital and
Digital.
it
Yeah.
expands out from there, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you need strategy, so there's just the overall plan of the whole thing. So in your world, you've got clients that you're doing this small piece for, and you're the expert. So you could go into Assemble, and it's hireassemble.com, and you could hit join or apply. I think it's join. And you could fill out the areas of expertise that you want to work on. And so you do that, and then you get vetted as an expert. They call you and check out your skills, and yeah, this person's good. Then a project comes in where somebody wants Facebook advertising, and then they assign you to the project. And then the customer pays Assemble, and Assemble pays you. Super
So
seamless.
the freelancer, or I don't really call myself freelancer, but whatever,
The expert,
they don't pay anything to be on there.
don't pay a dime.
And then the people that are looking for the project, can they get the project for free, or do they have a monthly fee, or how do they pay, or does it a cut out of the fees or whatever?
Everything's scoped, right? So it's all an individual case basis, although there are some project plans, right? So now we've got a social media package that has a clear deliverable. We have a Shopify package that has a clear deliverable. We have an SEO package. We have a blog package. We have an email campaign package. And you can see, okay, this much content, this posted this many times per week or per month. Here's the graphics that's going to show up, right? So there are some packaged plans that are like so fresh you could eat them raw. They just came out this week. So that's pretty cool. But there's, if it's more customized stuff, then it's kind of a scope project between Assemble and the expert. And then Assemble takes a piece of the dollars that the customer pays and then pays the expert what they've requested,
Got
right?
it.
So it's
Got
it's
it.
real simple. And
Yep.
again, you're out of the billing, you're out of the admin, you're out of the chasing the dollars, you're out of so many of these things. And what's cool in my head for people like you is your customers, like I said, are doing these other avenues of marketing. Now you can go be the contact, you can be the central point of contact and be like, yo, I got that. Because the people that Assemble puts on are fully guaranteed. So if you're in there for 2 weeks and this person's not doing what they said they were going to do, they'll replace them. And what's amazing is the
Mm.
speed at which they bring people in. They can have somebody up and running within 48 hours. And again, because the person they're lining up for the project is a true pro at that space, the learning curve is minimal because they already know what the actual job is and what it entails. They might have to learn a little bit about the company or the offering, but the rest of it, they already know how to do. So it's really kind of a cool way to get people that know what's up, are good at what they're doing, and get them moving forward fast. So from that standpoint, it's really cool. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, I got it. Got it. Yeah, it sounded like a lot like Upwork, so I just wanted to.
It does, and it plays in the same space,
Yes.
sort of,
Mm-hmm.
but like Upwork is really, really good for a tiny, tiny business,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's really good for someone um, that kind of values their dollar more than they value their time. And what I mean by
Yes.
that
Yes.
is, you
It's
think about it,
freelancers. Yes. Yes.
yeah, but think about
Mhm.
when you hired your bookkeeper, right? Or your accountant, I forget which word you use.
Bookkeeper. Yep. Bookkeeper.
How many different Upwork candidates did you review
Well, I
before?
had one who worked for me a year ago, and then I rehired them to do another one, and they failed miserably.
Okay.
So then I had to go find somebody else, and I had three people come through, and one from India, one from Philippines. I'm a little biased to Philippines
You're
because,
partial, yeah, because
So,
Joanne's awesome and she's
yep,
from the Philippines.
Carlos has been with me for 7, 8 years now.
Also
So,
awesome from the Philippines.
so I just thought, and I actually have somebody helping me with my Kartra stuff I found on Upwork too, and he's in the Philippines. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go with and so far so good. But yeah, you just don't know what you're going to get. I actually hired somebody in India for the Kartra thing prior to that, and he did a little bit of work and then it just sat. I see that a lot. And the one thing, the downfall with Upwork that I'm finding, and you could tell me the difference then with Assemble, is that they're freelancers. So they're doing a whole bunch of other projects too. And so for them to get in and get the time to actually get to your project, sometimes it doesn't happen.
Hmm.
And I've noticed that I work ongoing with somebody that helps me with Facebook ads a little bit. I do most of my stuff, but I want eventually to grow my business to scale. And I need, like, I would not have an Upwork person because they are busy with so many other projects. I need a solid person that would just be working with me, like Joanne is, like Carlos is. So if that makes sense. So they're freelancers. So I get it. I mean, I guess I'm in between a freelancer and an agency and that kind of thing, but I do have people working for me that can help me too, whereas they're probably mostly one person teams.
Right. So in the Assemble scenario, if they're not doing the work in the time that they said they were going to do the work, they're
Hmm.
gone, right? And there's no cost. You don't have to pay them, right? We replace them with somebody that's actually going to do the work. Now, the reality is a lot of these people can be freelancers or they can be professionals that are working their 9 to 5 that are looking for a couple of extra gigs, right? But the position, again, the difference between Upwork is I think I know what I want. I'm going to go find that person. I'm going to hope that I found the right one. And
Yep.
eventually, I'm going to find out whether or not I was right about all of it. In the Assemble world, we're going to scope the project with you. We're going to know exactly what you want. We're going to have already vetted the professional who's really good at what they do. And if they don't work out, we're going to replace them guaranteed. Right? So it's literally the idea is you have your own work to do. You've got the job, the position that you've got to focus on. You shouldn't have to worry about finding the talent or the experts that are going to complement what you're doing. You offload that or throw that over the wall. We handle all of it from start to finish. Right? So it's really the reason I fell in love with this instantly is because of my background in staffing. I have long known
Got
that
it.
the staffing world needs to be disrupted and flipped on its head. And part of what these guys are doing is disrupting it and flipping it. It's on its head. And I love it. I love that part.
That's
So,
very cool. Very cool. Well, and the key thing is look back at, so I feel bad I don't remember his name. Why am I not remember his name?
is it Carlos, the dude from Mexico?
No,
Oh,
no, way later he had a guitar behind him. Oh, it's bugging me now. He was telling us about stocks.
okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And he
Yeah.
said one of the number one stocks he has invested in is Upwork.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I'm thinking of, I mean, it's a hot marketplace.
It's one of the hottest on the planet.
It is. Yeah. I mean, it's a very, very hot marketplace, but I do see some things, like you said, broken with Upwork.
Well, and so one of the things that I love about
Dane.
good for you. Oh, good for you. I heard click,
Dane
click, click,
Maxwell. It
but
just had
still,
Dane Maxwell. Yep.
but
Okay.
but at least you knew what you were looking for and found it. So good. Nice
Yeah,
job.
he was awesome. Yeah, he's a serial entrepreneur himself. Yep. Exactly.
He and Danny would get along famously.
Yep.
One of the conversations I had with Danny just this morning, he's like, "Listen, you've heard of the World Economic Forum?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not super familiar with what it is, but yes, I know of it." And he's like, "Yeah, it's just basically all the world leaders, they get together and they talk about what's going on in the world and how to change the economy and improve it. And it's, really sponsored by the Clinton Foundation, and that's not trying to be political, it's just a fact."
Yep.
And I was like, "Yeah, okay, that sounds familiar." He said the number one topic they have going right now is future of work. And he said, "I think you would be wise to figure out how to build presentations and content around the future of work and start speaking on that." And he said, "And I'll put the landing page together. We can put the email campaigns together. We can help pretty up the presentation that you build. And then you go out and you go speak as the thought leader in the future of work. And, powered by Assemble, you can have a role with Assemble so people see you speak, know that Assemble's part of your world, and that'll be a great way for you to do lead generation." And I'm like, yes, super awesome. I'm making the championship, way to go, super excited kind of move because, hi, you want to do what now? You want to pay me to go out and speak and influence people? Okay, sounds good. And I can go make money as a speaker doing that. Yeah, yes, please sign
Yep.
me up.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
like, dude, get me some hats, get me some shirts, get me some sunglasses. I'll have some towels. Anything that you want that
Towels.
says Assemble on it, I'll be out there throwing that stuff around, man. So for me, it's like
You need
just
mouse
short of
pads.
flipping awesome.
There
So
you go.
do you
Gotta be
have
technology related.
wait a second, you still have a mouse pad?
Oh yeah.
Is that you two clowns?
That's my
Oh,
son and I by the
that's your son
camel.
and you with the camel
Egypt.
in Egypt.
Yeah, got
Now I'm
it.
singing Africa
Yeah, I
by
use a
Toto
mouse
and Gang.
pad. Don't people use mouse pads anymore? Wait, what?
I don't know. I don't ever use a mouse pad because I'm always on a laptop, and so I don't have a mouse in my laptop.
I have to use mouse. I can't stand the little thing. Anyway,
The
that's a whole nother
trackpad.
subject.
Yeah, you know what? I'm probably the minority in that.
I
So
have to use mouse.
we're gonna
That's
have
hilarious.
it'll be a Facebook conversation in mere moments. Trust me. So we'll see what happens there.
Oh, Terry.
What do you think? What do you think the percentage will be?
I don't know. That's a really good question. I think that is a very good question. Tag me on that so I make
Yep.
sure.
Ernie wants answers, damn it, and I'm here to give them to you, kids. That's how I am.
Our next show, we're going to cover who uses mouse pads, what the results were.
That's, you know
That's
what?
great.
Yeah, stay tuned, people. That might be the best cliffhanger we've had in 155 episodes, Janet E. Johnson.
It's mouse
It's
pads. But
about time.
none have pictures of a camel in Egypt,
And on the water, it looked like, too. That was pretty
Yeah, on
cool.
the ocean. Yeah, you got it.
Why do can't, did you ride that thing?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I could show you videos. Oh, Yeah, I was screaming, like, get me off.
How does it smell?
I don't know. Yeah,
Not as bad as
this
you
is a
think.
whole story, the whole camel ride, by the way. That like could be an entire episode.
Okay. Tune in to episode 156 where we talk about camels, poop, and walking by the ocean. Oh, and people
And
use
guys that
mousetraps.
solicit you to ride the camels. Yeah. So.
How did they smell? Maybe that would be a better question.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so back to the show.
Oh, oh, that's right. We're recording. How fun. So anyway,
So
that's kind of
Assemble is okay. So this is So this is a new gig that could grow into something really big because obviously, like I just said, if Upwork, people are looking at stocks with that. It's hot. People
it's a
know
hot market.
there was another one.
Top talent Fiverr are in the conversation a lot.
Fiverr, I suppose. Yes, that one, and it's kind of, Fiverr's
It's
become
like
weird.
Walmart.
Yeah, and it's become so weird because everything says it's Fiverr, so it's supposed to be $5, but then you go in and it's like $25 for a thing or $50. I don't get it anymore. It used to be a $5 deal, but anyway. And then there was another freelance one. But bottom line is, if a company could do a great job with this, like what you're talking about, it could be just huge. Mm-hmm.
It could be huge. And this is a guy that's been there, done that, built
Mm-hmm.
it, has the t-shirt and bought the golf shirt, like literally. And so he started going through his background. I've had him on a few calls lately. And Danny's started like 9 or 10 different companies. And he's probably 37, I'm guessing. Right. So in some of those hit 9 digits, right? So forget about a 7 digit, which is $1 million company. We're talking 9 digits, like 100 and multiples of $100 million company. So it's pretty phenomenal
Pretty
to,
safe bet. Yep.
yeah, man. And it's so you got a great idea, you got fantastic timing because, oh, by the way, is COVID just washed through. So think about 6 months ago, business owners were like, what? No, you can't work from home. I got to see you in
Exactly.
here. Otherwise, how will I know you're working? And now there's plenty of people I'm sure that weren't working, but there were way more people that proved that we could do our job as effectively from home or anywhere and get the job done. So now we're like, well, shit, we don't even have to see and put eyeballs on people. We can actually get the same level of results. So now there's going to be a little freed up time. You think about the average person's commute is somewhere between 25 and 40 minutes one way every day.
A waste of time. I always look at that. I'm like, even when clients want to meet with me, how long have we been on Zoom? Years.
Yeah, 4 years.
I trained all my clients the last few years to do Zoom. And now it's like a normalcy for everyone.
Too much so. Like, hey, you're sucking up my bandwidth. Get
I
off my
know. I'm
Zoom.
like, another Zoom call? Really?
I seriously, I've been on. We've been, like you said, we've been doing this for 4 years. I was on more Zoom calls in the month of April than I
Me
think I've
too.
ever been on in all the
6, 7,
recording.
8, 10 a day. I never hit 10. I think 8 was my max, but that's a lot of Zooming. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
So,
it.
so I can see what exactly. Okay, so let's finish this up with that we are going to try and aim at Danny being our next guest on the next show.
We can do that.
Okay.
We can do that.
So that will continue this conversation and continue. And in the meantime, what I will do is go sign myself up in there so that I can test it as a
Yeah.
third party. And then we can always, bring that in and talk about, how that experience went, that kind of thing. And then, so this is great for both the people that are fulfilling projects and the people looking for projects. So basically it's all business owners in reality, no
It's a
matter what
double-sided
size business.
marketplace.
Yeah. So, and it can be up to IBM size. I mean, like as big as you want to get. Okay.
Yeah. So you think about it, like, so Wells Fargo, a big bank,
Yep.
right? Think how many different projects they have going on. And so one of the things I said to Danny, I'm like, we're thinking marketing, and we're thinking, so the three areas we play in: marketing, development specific, and he calls it engineering, I call it development, right? Whether it's an app development or web
Oh,
development,
got it. Yep.
or consulting, right? So strategy primarily. um, and so you think about the small companies need those three things just like large companies do. And so as we were thinking through marketing, if you're marketing to marketing professionals, it becomes kind of expensive, right? From a Google perspective, from an AdWords perspective. But if you're marketing to human resource professionals, it's a little different cost structure. And it's a
Mm,
great way to position the HR professional as a true resource provider, because instead of raising the employment cost for people as you bring them in fully burdened, right? So whatever someone's salary is, instantly you have to add 30 to 35% for the full cost of employing that individual. So if you hire somebody at $100,000 a year, it's going to cost you 130 grand, right? That's just what the burden is on having them employed. Um, you don't have to mess with any of that now. And instead of trying to get the marketing guy who's going to be the awesome email campaign, forget about just the writer, but the sequencer and putting it into the system and making sure someone's following up on it. So they got to be good at that, and they got to be really good at social media, and they got to be really good at Google, right? I mean, we've talked about you before, how you did SEO and you were doing Facebook. You're like, there's too much. I
too much stuff to learn.
can't be great at all of it. I can only be great at one of it. So now we allow you to assemble, clever name, the right expert at the right time for the right project, and only have to pay for the work they're doing on that project. All right. So maybe it's 10 hours a week, maybe it's 30 hours a week, maybe it's an hour a week, whatever the case may be. You already know what you're getting into, and it can be project priced as well. So
Got it.
it's super slick, and it's where the market is moving.
It is. It is. So go back to, let's finish this up with, what is the website if people want to go sign up?
Yeah, go check it out, right? So it's Hire Assemble, HIRE Assemble, ASSEMBLE.com, right? So really straightforward. So if you're someone that's got projects and you're a business owner and you're like, man, I need somebody to do social media, there's a place for you to go fill in what kind of work you're looking for, right? So you can tell us what you need, and then an account rep will call you. Heck, I'm a sales partner, so I even may call you. Actually, the business development guy, Ty, will probably call you first, or maybe Stephanie. Um, will call you, talk to you, and then maybe we'll have a conversation about it. But the reality is, you can tell us what you're looking for, and then we'll match you with the expert, obviously, after giving you the price and all that fun stuff. On the flip side, if you're a service provider, doesn't matter what area of development or marketing or strategy or consulting you're in. If you're a service provider, you fill it out. Somebody will call you, they'll vet you on the skill set. Then you'll be ready to be positioned to be that expert that gets connected in a flash. It's pretty cool.
Very interesting. Very cool. Awesome. Well, I look forward to meeting Danny and everyone meeting Danny too. So we will finish this up with, you can find all our past podcasts on businessgrowthtime.com/podcast. We have a group called businessgrowthtime.xyz, takes you straight to that Facebook group. And then also, we would love to have a review if you got something out of this or any of our past podcasts. iTunes is the #1 place. We'd love a review, but also Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you do listen, we would love any reviews, and we will check them out. And we should probably check those out soon and read some of them on our show too. We appreciate it.
That'd be craziness. All right, y'all. We'll
Thank
look forward to
you.
seeing you soon.